You're still stuck because you choose to be stuck. Don't lie to yourself. Every excuse you make is weakness disguised as logic. You're broke, lazy, and unfulfilled because deep down, you're comfortable there. And comfort is the cage that keeps men slaves. Wake up because the world doesn't care. Either you break out or you rot where you stand. You're still stuck because you worship comfort. That's the truth. You lie to yourself and pretend you're tired, that you deserve to relax, that you'll get serious tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. Comfort has turned you into a slave and you don't even realize it. Every time you choose the couch over the grind, every time you pick the easy option, you weaken yourself. The world rewards men who embrace pain, not the ones who hide in softness. Comfort is not peace ass. It's slow suicide. I know because I've lived the struggle. There were nights I was broke, sitting in a freezing apartment with no food in the fridge, wondering how the hell I'd even make it through the week. No one was coming to save me. I didn't have a safety net. I didn't have endless options, and I definitely didn't have comfort. And that's exactly why I grew. I learned that hunger sharpens you, discomfort builds you, and pain fuels you. If I had chosen comfort back then, if I had stayed lazy, I'd still be broke, invisible, and weak. Comfort never saved me. It almost destroyed me. Look at your life. The reason you can't move forward is because you won't endure even the smallest discomfort. You can't wake up early. You can't put down your phone. You can't skip a night out to work on your future. And yet you wonder why nothing changes. The gym hurts, good, that's growth. Work feels exhausting, perfect. That's building resilience. You're bored working on your business, excellent. That's the barrier that separates the winners from the losers. The very things you run from are the things designed to make you unstoppable. When I was fighting, every day was suffering. Training sessions that broke my body, runs in the cold that made me want to quit, sparring that left me bruised and bleeding. But that suffering made me dangerous, made me disciplined, made me a champion. Yeah. I didn't want comfort. I wanted power, freedom, and strength. And all of those came through pain. Comfort teaches you nothing. Struggle teaches you everything. You're still stuck because you bow down to comfort. Until you kill that addiction, until you choose the path of discomfort, you'll never break free. The truth is simple. Comfort is the enemy. Pain is the teacher. Choose wisely. You're still stuck because you refuse to take accountability. It's always someone else's fault, isn't it? The government screwed you. Your boss doesn't pay you enough. Your parents didn't give you the right start. Society's unfair. That's the story you tell yourself because it's easier than admitting you're the reason your life is a mess. Excuses are a shield for the weak, and as long as you hide behind them, you will never move forward. The moment you stop blaming everyone else and point the finger at yourself, that's the moment everything changes. I remember being flat broke, sitting on a mattress on the floor of a small room in Luton. No car, no money, nothing but a broken laptop and a broken mindset. And I was angry. Angry at the world, angry at everyone around me, angry at the system. But then I had to face the truth. No one was coming to fix it. No politician, no family member, no friend. If I wanted out, I had to build the escape myself. That realization burned me, but it also freed me because once I accepted that everything was my fault, I gained the power to change everything. You're stuck because you don't own your failure. You think the world owes you, but it doesn't. Life doesn't care if you're tired, stressed, unlucky, or broke. It only rewards action. When I lost fights, when I got knocked out, when I was humiliated, I didn't blame the referee or my coach. I blamed myself. And by blaming myself, I had no choice but to improve. That's why I became stronger, sharper, harder to beat. I became sharper, harder to beat. Accountability is painful, but it's the only path to power. The difference between winners and losers isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's responsibility. Losers point outward, winners point inward. You want respect, control your life. You want money, build it. You want freedom, earn it. But as long as you keep looking for someone to blame, you're chaining yourself to weakness. The world is brutal, and if you don't hold yourself accountable, it will eat you alive. Stop blaming others. Stop lying to yourself. You are the reason you're stuck, and you're the only one who can break free. You're still stuck because you avoid pain. Every time something feels uncomfortable, you run. You look for the easy option, the shortcut, the soft landing, but that's exactly why you never grow. Pain isn't punishment, it's the process. It's the only way to sharpen yourself into someone worth respecting. And the truth is, Life is going to hurt you either way. You either suffer from the struggle of building yourself, or you suffer from the regret of staying weak. I remember the fights where I could barely breathe, when my ribs felt broken and my legs were shaking, but the bell rang and I had to keep going. Nobody cared that I was in pain. Nobody cared that I wanted to quit. If I stopped, I lost. If I kept moving forward, even broken, I had a chance. That's what pain taught me. It doesn't care about your feelings, but it will build your strength if you face it head on. Every scar, every bruise, every defeat became fuel. I didn't escape pain. I learned to carry it like armor. The problem is, most of you think pain is something to avoid. You get tired and you stop. You face rejection once and you give up. You fail at something small and you never try again. You treat pain like an enemy, when in reality, it's the only teacher that actually shapes you into someone formidable. Every champion, every winner, every man who built something out of nothing, he bled for it. He suffered for it. He kept pushing when everyone else quit. That's why he stands tall and you stay stuck. When I was broke, the pain of hunger, the pain of stress, the pain of being ignored and laughed at, it crushed me daily. But instead of running, I used it. That pressure forced me to think harder, work harder, fight harder. Without that pain, I'd still be nothing. Pain is the signal that you're leveling up. The more it hurts, the closer you are to becoming unstoppable. You'll never grow if you keep avoiding pain. Stop running from it, face it, embrace it, let it mold you. Pain is the price of greatness, and the ones who endure it are the only ones who rise. You're still stuck because you waste time. Time is the most valuable thing you'll ever own, and yet you throw it away like it means nothing. You've got artersea hours, the same as billionaires, the same as champions, the same as every man who built something out of nothing. But instead of using it, you kill it. Hours wasted on Netflix, scrolling on your phone, gossiping about people who don't even know your name. Then you cry about being broke, unfit, or unhappy. Your time is the chain around your neck, and every minute you waste tightens it. I know what it means to value time because I didn't always have it. When I was broke, I didn't have the luxury to waste a single day. I couldn't afford to sit around doing nothing. Every morning I woke up knowing that if I didn't move, if I didn't grind, I would stay stuck forever. I used every second I had to figure out how to climb out of the hole I was in. And that obsession with time, that refusal to waste it, changed everything for me. The people who waste their time are the ones who never escape. You think you've got forever? You don't. Life is short. You're not promised tomorrow. That's why wasting hours is the ultimate betrayal of yourself. Time doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't pause because you're tired. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. Time keeps moving, and every second gone is gone forever. When you finally wake up and realize you've thrown away years, that's when regret will crush you. And regret is the heaviest weight a man can carry. When I was training for fights, I used to break my days down to the minute. Every session mattered. Every run, every sparring round, every drill. There was no room to waste time because my opponent wasn't wasting his. If I wasted even an hour, he gained on me. That's the truth of life. Someone out there is using their time better than you, and they will beat you because of it. The man who values his time will always destroy the man who wastes it. Stop killing your future with wasted hours. Time is the only currency that matters, and if you don't use it wisely, you'll die broke in every sense of the word. You're still stuck because you have no discipline. You rely on motivation, and motivation is worthless. Motivation comes when you feel good, when the sun is shining, when life is easy. But the second you're tired, the second it gets hard, it disappears. Discipline is what separates the winners from everyone else. Discipline means you do the work, whether you feel like it or not, whether you're tired or not, whether the world is against you or not. Without discipline, you're nothing but a man with wasted potential. I learned discipline because I had no choice. When I was broke, nobody cared about how I felt. I didn't have the option to stay in bed and take it easy. I had bills piling up, stress breaking me down, and the only way out was to force myself to act every single day. I remember sitting at my old desk, exhausted, staring at the same broken laptop, forcing myself to work when I wanted to quit. No inspiration, no motivation, just pure discipline. That's what built me. That's what saved me. Discipline was the rope I used to climb out of the pit. The truth is, you're not disciplined, because you're weak. You think feelings matter. You think if you don't feel like it, you can skip it. That's why your body looks the way it does. That's why your bank account looks the way it does. That's why your life is average. You've built your entire existence on whether or not you're in the mood, and moods change like the wind. Discipline doesn't change, it's constant. It's a promise you make to yourself that no matter how you feel, the job gets done. When I was training to fight, there were mornings I could barely get out of bed. My body was broken, bruised, screaming at me to rest, but discipline got me up. Discipline dragged me to the gym. Discipline forced me to spar. Discipline kept me running when my legs were on fire. And every time I honored discipline, I became stronger, not just in the ring, but in life. That same discipline carried into my businesses, into everything I built. Discipline is the foundation of freedom. You don't need more motivation, you need more discipline, because without it, you'll stay exactly where you are, stuck, weak, and forgettable. You're still stuck because you're terrified of what people think. Every move you make, every idea you have, you kill it in your own head before the world even sees it. You're chained to other people's opinions. You don't speak up because you're scared of being laughed at. You don't start because you're scared of failing in public. You don't act because you're scared someone will judge you. And so you stay exactly where you are, paralyzed, invisible, forgotten. I know what it feels like to be laughed at. I know what it feels like when people doubt you, mock you, and tell you that you'll never make it. When I was broke, when I was hustling with nothing, everyone around me thought I was insane. They told me to get a normal job, to stop dreaming, to accept my life. They laughed when I said I was going to win. They laughed when I said I would build something bigger than myself. And for a while, their voices cut deep. But then I realized none of them were living the life I wanted. None of them had the results I was chasing. So why the hell would I value their opinion over my own? Fear of judgment kills more dreams than failure ever will. Failure at least gives you feedback, pain, and lessons you can use. Judgment gives you nothing but hesitation. When I was fighting, stepping into the ring, the whole world was watching. If I won, I was a hero. If I lost, I was humiliated in front of everyone. That pressure is brutal, but I learned to love it. Because once you accept that people will talk regardless, once you accept that their opinions don't pay your bills or build your legacy, you free yourself. And when you're free from judgment, you become unstoppable. The truth is, people don't even think about you as much as you believe. They're too busy with their own problems, their own failures, their own insecurities. You let imaginary opinions dictate your entire life, and in doing so, you waste the only chance you have. Stop being scared of what people might say. Start being scared of dying with nothing to your name because you were too weak to act. You'll never rise if you care about their judgment. Fear chains you, action frees you. You're stuck because you've built your own prison. Smash the walls. Discipline, action, and pain are the keys. Yeah. Stay stuck or rise up. The choice is yours.